But welcome everybody to Office of Collecting and Design, and this is an intimate evening of poetry here at the Office of Collecting and Design. This is Jessica Oreck's place. She's the one who curates it. She's a filmmaker. In fact, she just had one of her films play at the Huntridge, not the Huntridge, Beverly. Thank you. Yeah, that's good with those. So yeah, we're excited to be able to do this. My wife is Sugar. My name's Shwa Laytart, for those of you who haven't been here before. My wife's Sugar in the back. We are the owners of Avantpop Bookstore. And myself, I am a writer as well. So we're really excited to showcase some of our favorite poets in Las Vegas. There's so much great talent here. And so we're always constantly rotating and bringing new people in, but we also bring back some of our favorites too. So you'll see some folks here that you can watch on our YouTube channel because we record everything. And what else? Anything else? Am I forgetting anything? The sun's really drained, I think, a lot of us today. We're all kind of brain dead here. What else?
If we didn't get a beverage, I guess at this point don't get it, but we'll have a break and you can grab some.
So how this will roll out is we'll have 3 poets do their readings, and then we'll take a little intermission break. We've got keys to the bathrooms here if you need it. We also have waters, and like I said, more drinks as well.
Did you mention the theme for tonight?
And the theme for tonight, I was just getting to that. The theme for tonight is toasted. Which we tell people can be, whatever. All the themes we say, write what you feel the theme speaks to you on. So they're always interesting and fun. We thought this one, especially after 420, would be kind of fun, toasted and roasted. But not all are going to be dealing with that. In fact, my first one this evening has nothing to do with cannabis. It's a little bit more. A little darker with a little happy twist at the end. But my last one will be, if you hang out all night, will be about cannabis. So it's fun. Unfortunately, I'm not high, so I'll probably get through this pretty quick. But anyway, so for those of you that don't know, this building here is the New Orleans Square. And we got talked into putting our bookstore here. We've been online for years and traveling with book festivals. The owner of the building was named Ron, and he had a big dream for this whole place. He had gone to Burning Man with his family, changed his life, blew his mind, and he wanted lots of art, queer, unique stores in this place. And so he had in mind for where our bookstore is, a bookstore. He saw our website, thought it was great, and gave us a nice little deal for us to come on board here. The day we came to sign our lease and meet with him, he was in the hospital and got diagnosed that day with stomach cancer. And unfortunately, Ron passed that month before we could even move in. So since then, his dream unfortunately died. His kids didn't want anything to do with it, and it sold to the county. And so the county has been talking about what they want to do with the building, and they've been blowing a lot of smoke, as politicians do, but also saying nothing's set in stone, and that what they plan is to revigorate the place and throw money at us and help us who have been struggling because it's become a ghost town here with all the businesses leaving. But under his breath, he also said that they need to do a report to see if the building's worth saving. Now, we do have an architecture company right behind here that's part of these units, and they said there's no way they're going to probably save this building. So that means we're all going to be pushed out, basically. And most of us don't know where we're going to go, and a lot of us don't know if they're going to keep doing their business. So really take in the Office of Collecting, because Jessica doesn't know where she's going to be at here in the future and if she'll continue to do this. So take lots of pictures, enjoy it, come on in, book an appointment to come in, do a flat lay, and support her however you can, because this is a really special place she's got here. In this little reading room, we've been lucky to do our intimate evenings of poetry here, which, as you can see, it's very intimate. We sell out every time. But anyway, so we're really honored to be here. But my first poem this evening is titled The Defeated Winner. And this has kind of been my mood lately, just kind of a little bummed. But, there's always little, with every storm, there's a little light at the end. So, allow me to begin. Baby, I'm a rusted tin can bathing in a dry riverbed. I'm a shattered dream and virtually brain dead. I'm hot air boiling, spewing out at the seams. My bones are cheap plaster covered by coagulated steam. I've peeled away my vision and vanquished my plans. It's all just illusion as I burn the prints from my hands. I'm crusty on the outside with a cracked and burnt soul, yet not bad to look at for a foolish, dirty troll. I'm roasted, toasted, and completely overdone. But thanks to your love, baby, I still feel like I've won. Thank you. I'm really excited. This poet has read with us at a couple different events, so 3 now, I think. And we're always super excited to hear this poet because the passion is incredible and they're just super talented. So please help me welcome to the podium here, Emily Ajir.
Hello. It's polite to say hello back. Hello. Yes. Thank you. My name's Emily. This is my co-poet, Lila, Brissette, featuring on the next poem after this one. Yeah, you guys are all so nice. Look at you, making it here. I lust for comfort. I lust for comfort. I desire reassurance in love. I want the warmth and safety of a Kevlar vest without the tightness on my chest. I want the protection felt in my pocket knife without the misdemeanor for carrying it. I want the revolver tucked in my belt without the urge to taste it. I want the blood on my mouth without the mania in my eyes. I need you to hold me until this ends. That's that one.
Yeah.
Why are you whooping? It's so small in here. No whoops allowed.
Okay, no.
You can whoop a little bit. All right. Now I feel bad. You can whoop.
I'll do something.
In fact, only whoops, no claps. So one time, this master of cabinets and freaking it. You guys know what Oktoberfest is?
Yes.
Oh, sick. That makes this easier then. So they have this tradition called Weizenkock, or something like that. I don't know. I don't know enough about it to really tell you what it is. But it's a powder they snort, and it's legal. And can someone help me open my powder? Yeah, I think the main reason they snort it is just so that they can also snort coke and ketamine and other things there. But you know, you got some plausible deniability, right? So one time, this master of cabinets and freaking it told me 2 very important things.
What'd he tell us?
What did he tell us? Number 1, motherfuckers get down in Albuquerque. And number 2, cocaine brings out the self-centered asshole in all of us. Oh, that one stuck.
Woo!
Oktoberfest? I love intoxication. I usually hate parties, but I love living on Party Planet. I love throwing spare ingredients into my nervous system. Nothing tastes better than the Yellow Terra pulling up right when the acid plateaus. And you can't beat a first kiss during a cocaine come up. And I haven't found anything better than mountaintop sex on mushrooms. All that glitter keeps things fucking moving, gets me in my skin and wires it up tight. Makes me feel good about life, disarms me, kills the right nerves, lights up the better ones. It babysits my social anxiety so I don't have to work with it. For a long time now, I've been using various drugs and alcohol to handle depression, trauma, etc. I haven't suffered all that I've earned, but I have been suffering. Addiction runs through my family and life. I've been using toxins to cope in a sick society. I hate it.
And I think it. We've been trying to live on Party Planet 24/7. And we wonder why calm Earth feels so wrong. We don't want to be an electrochemical nightmare anymore. Strike a better balance, at the very least. Start using things, not relying on them to stay upright.
I can still always go for some unrestrained pleasure.
But we need to learn to feel the cold air. Or just feel it all.
I'll take it more seriously, I promise.
I know we can go without them. What's in a glass?
Nothing in there will make anything.
Except a bit of piss.
Baby's first psychedelic was at 12. Said almost like a joke or anecdote, but my terrible little body turned into liquid fire. The soft Persian rug under me was the only reality left. Everything else in that cramped living room turned into ants. It was awe-inspiring and fucking hilarious. But the adults and parents around me didn't really care.
I don't think we've ever been normal. That certainly didn't help.
Drugs make me better!
Do they?
They make me a better writer! A better student! A better lover! A better chore doer!
Do they?
A better poet! A better fucking criminal!
Really?
A better lover! A better fucking dog! A better motherfucker killer! A better me!
A better me?
A better me! I know these things aren't good for me, but I feel the rocks in my veins bounce from my heart to head, carrying the love quicker. My feet are lighter on it. They move with it. Drowned in electricity, my head shuts the fuck up. I don't have to worry about anything except the next bump, the next cigarette, the next fucking shot, the next faucet to turn all the way open. I can work until nightfall. I can love until morning. I can do anything in exchange for that gross fucking soul poison. Or
you take the gloves off. You feel every inch of every edge, of every cushion, of every fist, of every lover, of every day.
poison feels easier than that. Poison lights me the fuck up. I'm fucking burning the fuck down. I'm having a fucking panic attack.
You know what we can do to fix this. Slow,
Intentional breaths.
slow,
Intentional use.
slow.
Intentional life.
This poison is killing us.
I need this comfort!
We want to be better.
I can't keep doing this!
We have to keep doing this.
I don't want to think or feel or work or...
We have to bleed and struggle and adapt.
I have been bleeding for so long! I have to keep jamming battery acid into that wound. It's the only way I know how to cauterize it.
You're destroying healthy flesh around that abyss for no reason. You're hurting people around you.
Nothing else I've ever tried has successfully made me normal. I have to be this way.
So you have to be this way before you can be anything else. It's not about success or failure. It's about rolling forward, treating the wound. Everything that hurts now, every failure, make it help with what comes next.
This is reality.
We change it atom by atom, bit by bit, brush stroke by pinch stroke.
It takes for fucking ever.
But before you know it, we wake up and we're in a new world.
Fucking fine, okay. Didn't know it smelled like that. I'll deal with that later. Morning after. My organs and muscle groups begin to rouse themselves, still clearing out nocturnal toxins. One at a time, they ache and rattle like a rusted out Camry, pulling its shit together to get on the road for one last fucking case. They're all awake or close to that, and we begin the collaborative effort of moving my ass out of bed and getting in the fucking shower. Operating as one, individual cells moan and groan as they become a choir. A choir tossed from from overindulgence, and they sing a memento mori through my blood and bones. At the height of the music, they all bellow in one voice. I need to pee. Also, I'm a full-time enforcer. I do handwork and I'll do whatever you want for like $25 an hour. Just let me know. Thank you. Anarchy forever!
Family Ajir, everybody. Yeah. All right. Well, this next poet, if you've been following us, is no surprise that they're here. We've been publishing their book. In fact, we're now on the second edition of the book, and we're almost sold out, getting close to being sold out of that one. So please help me welcome to the stage Garrett, James, Dillon.
Thank you, thank you. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Oktoberfest. But they have this thing that looks like cocaine but isn't cocaine that you can do. No, I won't do that. That's too easy. I'm not sharing with you. All right. So there was a little bit of miscommunication. When Shwa told me about this event, we were drinking heavily at the Red Dwarf. Hashenka was playing, some of you know, loud punk rock music. He's trying to tell me the theme. I thought that he said toast. Not toasted. So what I have prepared is 10 minutes of material on toast, which was not fucking easy, let me assure you. This first one is a haiku, and this shit is called toast. Don't count syllables, it's not cool. Water, flour, and fire. Peaks of our evolution. Mine looks like Elvis. Oh, yeah, sorry. Whenever I'm done reading, I'll drink. Thank you very much. So the theme toasted, obviously, I think refers to being intoxicated mostly with marijuana or alcohol. I've written a lot of poems about drugs. Anyone who's known me for more than 30 seconds knows that. I don't have many about marijuana because it doesn't do anything bad. So what the fuck is there to write about? I don't know any positive adjectives. But here we go. Couple that I tried to write about cannabis and what it does for me. So first one is called Caryophyllene in the Rain. Today I smelled black pepper in the rain, held in the taste of mangoes, and thought about what can and cannot be washed away. I was never one for wasted agony, just a moment to quietly spasm amongst the flowers. Such a curious cure-all. One love in a world of hatred. One life, and I will not suffer any more than I absolutely must. This next one, the Christians have informed me that God can do anything, but I've found that there's a couple of skills that he's lacking in. And this is about one of them. This is called Until God Learns How to Slash Tires. I hit the joint deep and smile at the palm trees waving in the wind. I hold it in. Because fuel comes in many forms and I could never afford to be picky. Are you feeling trapped again? I specialize in burning down my home whenever I have the privilege presented under finite moonlight. I understand the value in language of cellular banality, steady dose reality. We've been down this road before and I'll keep trucking down it and won't stop until God learns how to slash tires. Now, that might seem like an anti-God poem because it is. This next one is not an endorsement of drinking and driving. I would never do that. But next time you say, Jesus, take the wheel, I'd like you all to remember that he's a fucking wino who's never driven a car in his life. This is called Drunk Driving with Jesus. This is not an endorsement of drunk driving. It was a beautiful night to drink and drive, with promised children blowing kisses in my rear view. Casual as a car crash, I cruised the other way. The ditches twitched with macabre anticipation. The stoplight stagnated as I grew impatient. So I swam with the sharks on 95 North. Blood-soaked and bourbon drunk, I recited the prayer of the unhandcuffed. Predator is subjective. Pulled over on the freeway as Old Glory's Molotov set my cab on fire. There I sat, burning bright in the flames of the flag. Gacked out and guiltless, I tried to explain that Jesus had taken the wheel with stigmata hands, bleeding red wine into the dashboard and carpet before disappearing like a thief in the night. Fucker would do that, wouldn't it?
I'm gonna go drink and drive after this.
You don't have a car, fuck you. Alright. This next poem is actually from my book, which Shwa mentioned. It's called Reflections from the Haze. It's in its second printing. 21 of my poems, along with 21 images of local illustrator Seth Singer, and I better hear some fucking applause. But this is one I guess people seem to enjoy. It's called Death of a Drunken Asshole. Never try to shit a shitter. He slurred, bleeding in needles, treating fresh wounds with cinnamon, mere moments after trading his left eye for scratch-off tickets, which were lit up to burn down an unnamed forest. Shit. Itch might as well be my name. He sobbed around Barstow, trading ratios, scenic failure dancing irradiated like dynamite nestled right at home. The car crashed in Jean, trampled by buffalo ghosts. The desert eats what it calls its own. Blacked out death is all he'd ever hoped for. Worthless bastard. Got more than he deserved. Before I move on to this next one, I want to attempt a monologue about our theme here, which is toasted. Obviously.
Woo, right.
But I just want to say, what is toast? Toast is bread, which is by itself food stuff, has nutrient, but we decide to add fire to it. We decide to do something different for a little bit of creativity. I'm of the opinion that if you're going to do something to a logical conclusion, you should do it to the extreme. So for me, toasted means burnt. It means blackened. It means completely fucked. But any working man will tell you that if you have a burnt piece of toast, you just take a knife and scrape off what you find unpleasant. And if there's one group of people that I trust in this world, it is poor people with knives. So, this next one is a very old poem. It fucking rhymes, which is embarrassing. It's called Patterns to Ponder. Morose restraint faltering through spinal shudder, dope-sick chills. The people can't afford the food, so let them eat the pills. There is no more room for optimistic imagination. These bottles were broken before we arrived. A primal instinct, pheromone instigation where only the sleazy can hope to survive. When all the guns are loaded and all the needles are used, all the philosophers quoted and all the whores abused, we're left with a pattern to ponder. 2 joints of Mickey's and 29 cents. Some people get obscene fortunes to squander, but y'all got a poem that doesn't make sense. This last one is, not last one, this next one is about when I lived just up the street. A place called 5002 South Maryland Parkway. If you've ever lived near UNLV, you know what it's like. And if you don't, I'm about to explain it to you. The present is fucked, and I have no use for it. So I'm blacking out today in reverence of days past. Pernicious but precious, yesteryear is preferable, back when the suffering at least made sense. Just a drugged-up druid hunkered down in his bunker temple, leaving trash strewn about to honor the forgotten, forgetting the dead to placate the living, choosing not to choose life, as if life were an option, opting instead for dread and infestation with all the grace of a fist through a mirror. I stepped on more broken glass inside than out. Just ask the bloody footprints leading to the liquor store. Past the madmen screaming in the street, burn a shade of copper that can't be ripped from their skins. Past the college students avoiding eye contact, waiting for their buses and their futures far away from people like me. Past the dive bars and punk clubs and crack houses, resolute in their toxic charms and reliable cheap escapes. Sanguine Saggard pattern tells a stripped-down story. Its particulars are all irrelevant, ignoble, illegal. The neighborhood was nice and negative. It was the kind of place that salvation came hard. Filth as a way of life was my spirituality then, nourished daily by ritualistic roach sacrifices. The spilt yeast Eucharist ensured a healthy harvest. Every day I'd giveth, and every night I'd taketh away. When I sank home into my holiest of holes, there was always something for me to kill. Roaches. I was killing roaches, not people. So, anyway. Last one for the evening is the last poem in the book, actually. One more plug. Reflections from the Haze. Buy it from Sugar and Shwa. Get me drug money. I clearly need it. This is called Ode to a Hole in My Wall. I awake to another unwelcome house guest as if I needed the company. A hole in the wall staring right back. Ornamental therapy and absence of common decency or a sound mind. Its unforgiving gaze pierces right through me like a bullet through brain matter or a whiskey bottle through a ghost. Vengeance is mine, so saith the old gods and the new. And now I'm brandishing kitchen knives at people that aren't there. With tears in my eyes and cocaine up my nose, screaming at angels to stay on their side. Beer drunk and broken down, I write hymns in the dirt, trying to convince myself I am more than my addictions and impulses, or the voices in my head that never cease until sedated, or even this shattered reflection tinged with blood and spit, dripping glass into a dirty sink while I hyperventilate decapitated. Maybe I am a summertime corpse floating down the wrong river, or a coma victim in the moonlight worrying about nothing. Perhaps my parents murdered me as a baby, and I stagger along in limbo as they grow fat on beans and fellowship. What if this home, full of holes and empty cans and failed dream catchers and forgotten traffic tickets, is a merciless illusion festering slyly, cruel and untrue and unrelenting in its brilliance? The only other alternative is too grim for me to face, so I won't. At least not tonight.
Garrett, James, Dillon, everybody. Let's give it up. Well, we're always excited about this next poet coming up because, we kind of had to coax her into doing some poetry for us, and now she can't stop. So please help us welcome to the podium, Janice Parker.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
So, I got 3 poems for you today. The first one is both about toast and being toasted at the same time. And how it came about is, do you guys you're waiting for your toast or you're waiting for the microwave and there's just those couple of minutes and your brain just starts thinking about stuff in that really short time of waiting. So, imagine that, but while you're high. And that's kind of how this poem came about. So, this poem is called Toast While I'm Toasted. Click. It's in. The level says 4, which is correct, I think. 4 of what, exactly? 4 inhales and exhales of impatient while my stomach growls? 4 times darker than that flesh-colored crayon Crayola used to make? 4 minutes, actually, according to Google. The bread is still in there. How much time has passed? How does my poster even tell time? Humans can't conceive of time without screens to tell us, but this metal heat box knows it precisely? There is no precision in time. 4 minutes does not always feel like 4 minutes. Minutes are altered through the mood of the soul like those different Instagram filters. 4 minutes waiting for a concert to start is 40 minutes of amped up anticipation waiting to burst. 4 minutes in traffic is an hour of inhaling fumes that dull any of the compassion I have left for my fellow humans. 4 minutes when you're hungry is always too long. My bread is still in there. How much time has passed? My internal hibernating bear says it's been 10 minutes. I could end it with the press of a button, but I won't. How do we ever know the right time to press a button? If I press the button, will I be an intuitive hero or an impatient amateur who can't even make a sandwich? Although, according to my husband, cheese whiz on toast is not a real sandwich. Who decides what constitutes a real sandwich anyway? As humans, is it important to gatekeep the nature of our food cravings? Why does my snack need to be bound by flat two-dimensional definitions? What's between my bread is my business, right? My bread is still in there. How much time has passed? The cheese whiz on the counter is sweating from anxiety. Anxiety always surrounds me in these frozen moments. Anxiety moves up to that top kitchen cupboard that I can't reach because I'm too short. Anxiety glues me down to our tiled kitchen floor because the moment I walk away is the moment that things actually happen. Anxiety paralyzes me because this stupid toaster will pick the precise moment of a horror movie jump scare to give me a heart attack. Anxiety kills is my stepdaughter's favorite mantra. My bread is still in there. How much time has passed? What the actual fuck? This toaster isn't plugged in. That actually happened. You can ask my husband. Okay, so this next one's a bit of a sensitive one for me. So I'm Filipino. I was raised in Canada, but I have Filipino parents, and there's a lot of pressure to look a certain way in that culture. And I've always wanted to write a poem about it, but never finished it. And when I saw this toasted topic, it clicked that I need to finish this poem because toasted is one of the lines in there. And the reason it's one of the lines in there is I had an aunt that used to tell me that if I got too dark outside, I looked toasted, like a bad thing. So I did finally finish this poem, which I'm going to be sharing with you. And one thing I want to mention is I referenced tita in here, which in the Philippines means an auntie. So that's what that means. Okay, so this poem is called My Titas Were Wrong. To that one tita, the one who always commented on the shade of my skin, telling me to stop playing in the sun with my friends so I don't look too toasted, telling me that beauty is based on my ability to color match the Hollywood stars on TV, telling me that my skin was a mistake to be corrected with those whitening lotions from the Filipino grocery store. To that one tita, stop talking. The mix of pigments that come alive in enlightened sunlight is the perfect match for my soul that transverses between east and west. The skin I'm in is the one I'm meant to be in, and I will wear it like tanned armor against your colonial arrows. Tita, I am exactly who I am meant to be. To that one tita, the one that always made the scientific assessment about which way my scale has tipped since the last gathering, telling me that I had a nice dress, but telling the other relatives in Tagalog that college makes people gain weight. Telling me that it would be disrespectful if I didn't eat the desserts made by my elders while also patting my stomach with a giggle. Telling me about the latest diet or liquid cleanse or exercise video that my thinner cousins used even though I never asked. To that one tita, stop talking. The shape of me is from a unique, shining, celestial mold that curves and bends into what I need to live my life. This body has a healthy heart that beats, and a brain that questions, and a backbone that strengthens me against projected requirements. Tita, I am exactly who I am meant to be. To that one tita, the one that always pinched and pulled my nose at family parties to make it longer. Telling me that longer ski jump profiles of European supermodels and beauty queens were the picturesque ideal. Telling me that the stunted bridge I grew up with was not the desired sharp nose, that it would have held my glasses up better. Telling me that if I studied hard and graduated summa cum laude, then all this would be overlooked. To that one tita, stop talking. The flat bridge towards the rounded tip is a journey that was inherited and carries the history of my ancestors. The divine design at my facial center is mirrored whenever I see someone else that looks like me and who is just as beautiful. Titas, I am exactly who I am meant to be. All right, so this last one is again, a different definition of toast. So I kind of want to write a poem of like my old self to my newer self. As we grow, we kind of become different people. But I wasn't sure how to do it. I thought of doing it like a letter, but that didn't seem right. Thought of like a eulogy, but that seemed weird. And then when I saw this topic, I was like, a toast! I can do it as a toast. So that's what this poem is. It's called Toast to a Missing Woman. Distinguished guests, I am honored to give this toast. A toast to the missing woman. Please excuse this dress stained with mistakes. It was the only thing I had that matched my pride. A toast to a missing woman who looks a lot like me, but magically appears more alive and definitely more oriented to the world. Some say she was last seen wandering the desert with a found map to a personal oasis. Or some say she was last seen at that fork in the road with a knowing smirk on her face and 1 foot forward. Or, if you believe the rumors, she was last seen scheduling time for a mental breakdown that was well past due. But don't believe that one. A toast to the missing woman. Here is where I insert a complimentary anecdote or funny story about her, but instead, I offer a confession, because her imperfections were necessary for spring to arrive. Instead, I offer her paradoxical thoughts that grew and cracked the surface like a vintage aesthetic. Instead, her lovely, jagged mosaic is presented as Mona Lisa's smile. Just step back far enough and really look. A toast to the missing woman. May you realize that the top sometimes feels like the bottom, and from that foundation, may you push off, push back, push up to the heights where you are jigsaw perfect fit. Salud.
Janice Parker, everybody. All right. Well, on the whole toasted vibe, I'm so glad people were doing toast ones. I know. I thought that was great. Now, for those other toasted folks, I used to be a bit of a beer drinker quite a bit, and one of the things I thought I was proud of was not getting hangovers. I'm like, I just don't get the hangovers. Well, the Germans have a name for hangovers called Katzenjammer. So after a while, I realized as I got older that I might not get the headaches and the whole body ache, but I started to get haunted. And I'd wake up with these really, really horrific thoughts in my head, and that was what I decided was my hangover. And so this poem is titled Dark Spirits. It took some serious thought, but when I think about it, it is the spirits that haunt. When you find yourself waking up with a gun to your head, the question you will obviously ask is, what did I did? I prefer to think, and I hope you concur, that I saved the day. Obviously, not for me, but someone worthy. And thus this bullet wasn't specifically for me. Then I realize the gun to my head, which now is in my mouth, is just a sad story I'm thinking about, that my subconscious brought, that constantly rotates in my waking thoughts. I wish my hangovers caused pain like they did when I was young and drinking. Katzenjammer mornings are not for me. Dark spirits in my simple machine. Thank you. All right, on that note, let's all have a cocktail. We're going to take an intermission. We have water and ginger seltzers too, so please, we have bathroom keys for those who need to take a break. Have about 15 minutes or so, and then we'll bring everybody back in, please. And we got Chris Mendoza coming back up to serenade us.
I find myself lying on the floor, sprawled out with you. Spilling beans and soak my selfish soul in shame. But do you like doesn't have a lot to say. She's a pretty nice girl, but she changes from day to day. Wanna tell her little everyone, but I gotta get a belly full of wine. She's a pretty nice girl, someday I'm gonna make her mine. Yeah, someday I'm gonna make her mine.
I don't hear that sound covered very much. That's good.
Take a breather.
Feel you.
Chris Mendoza.
Feel you.
Take a breather, boss. Good, good. That's when I know. That's when I know I've written something good. When I start crying after reading, I'm like, all right, I did a good job there. We'll take it. We'll take it.
Sundress.
All right. Well, is everybody in? I think so. Okay. Well, let's bring out this next poet. Now I'm really excited. We love working with this next poet. They're super talented, and they even hosted another poetry event around town. So we're super excited to be able to bring them into ours. So let's take a deep breath and give a warm welcome to Stephi Blue, everybody.
Howdy. Howdy, y'all. I'm Stephi Blue. I go by Blue. If you've been in the poetry scene in Las Vegas, you might see me around. I'm hanging out and supporting other poets, and yeah. So, what does it mean to be toasted? The dictionary term lists it as a very hot or browned out by exposure to heat, but in a more urban vernacular sense means to be too high or intoxicated. So here are some poems which I wrote about my issues with substances or vices. And I'm gonna take my glasses off because I like to not see people. Yeah. So this is a really early poem of mine that I actually haven't, I'm not even gonna publish it, but it's like super early. It's called Love Drunk. I heard somewhere that alcohol takes your soul. I guess that's the goal when you want to bury the feelings you gave so freely, so many pieces of myself. How do you cope? I almost lost hope, but here I am again, stifling memories with a bottle. Just a sip, that's all it takes, and it makes me ache. I want a smoke, a kiss, any vice will do, just help me forget you, please. I beg this memory will disappear. I'll finish this drink and no longer fear these memories haunting me, my dear. That was like a really early poem, so I was just like, Weirdly enough, I don't have that many about vices, but probably my most famous poem, and my favorite, personal favorite, that's going to be in my book I just published. Avantpop will be selling a special edition copy of it. Only 50.
Only $50.
Yeah, I know. No, only 50 copies. I'm not that established. It's much cheaper.
Okay, well, shut up and take my money.
But yes, this poem is my favorite, and it's the one I definitely used to do all the time, and so a lot of people have heard it before, but it's just so fitting with the whole toasted idea. So it's called Boy. The street name for heroin is Boy, and for me, heroin was a boy. He feels like a warm blanket, covering your cold phalanges, The moment you stop shivering, captured in an idle state of consciousness. It feels like being in love until you realize that the artificial chemical compound is no different than the real thing. He is your favorite sad songs on repeat as you stare at the ceiling, drifting off into calm complacency. It's easy to get lost when you don't know where you are going. But suddenly, you are sick, and those rose-tinted glasses are sliding down your nose, and you glimpse the reality you tried so hard to escape. He was the beautiful mess you tried so hard to save until you realized it was you who needed saving. Turn away. Boy won't save you. He never could, and that is reality. Harsh and bitter pills to swallow, haunting every single day. The smell, the feelings, stark reminders of an alternate actuality. Save yourself, girl said. Thank you. Probably one of my favorite poems, then definitely will be it's in this book. So if you feel inclined, get yourself a copy. It'll be released soon, so. And then this is some new shit.
New shit?
Relatively new shit. Relatively new shit, because I think I did do it at Doom's Poetry, but I feel like don't buy this book actually. Like all of my old poems suck. Like my newer stuff is so much better. I just need to get this out of the way for like my good shit. So this is like one of my newer poems, and I'm also like really inspired by Allen Ginsberg. So he kind of like after like reading a little bit of Allen Ginsberg, I like wrote this piece, and I was like, yes. So yeah, none of that rhyming shit. Just kidding. Living in Society Made Me a Misanthrope is the name of the poem. Nicotine, nicotine, nicotine. Go now and find what your brain craves. The last vestige of every drug you've ever done. No, it's not the last, just the lightest feeling. Peeling paint on the ceiling. Don't look up when you're high. Trust me. Feel the rest of the love that's drained you and remind yourself that you are not worthy to be looked at with such gaze when you run through life like a hazy morning dissipates by noon at least. I love every last bit of you. Yes, you! Nicotine, nicotine, nicotine! Please remember me when I'm 10 feet under. You were the only one there for me. At the end of it all, one last hit, one last draw. Give me it all, please. For a fleeting moment, I feel happy. Finally, just give it up. And remember that you chose to be this sad because society tells you to be, living an idyllic fantasy that has made me love you. And then this poem, this is actually barely a poem, it's just like some high thoughts. It's called Me Being way too high off an edible at 12 a.m. This is why I don't do edibles, and you'll see why. It's just, death is time passing by. To know the future is to know death, a certain principle. And that's it. That's, high thoughts. Anyway. So kind of to step away from like being intoxicated, so to speak. I feel like being toasted has another meaning. It's like for this next one, it doesn't have to do with the toasted theme assignment, but rather a more intimate side of trauma. So it's like, what are the reasons for getting toasted besides boredom? Why is escapism so attractive when it's a slippery slope to fall into the abyss of addiction? This is a poem about facing the past and how love can heal the present. I have not done this one before. It's brand new. And I thought it was fitting because we're in April, and it's called April is the Cruelest Month. It also, give me a second. It's also very personal and vulnerable. So, let me. Okay. When we first met, you went by a different name. They came with the many homes that chewed you up, spit you back into the system. Confused at such a young age about who you were, until by God's grace, my parents adopted you, returned you to your original sobriquet. It was then in elementary school I realized names are just given to us. I always hated mine, but when I saw my mother's name perfectly printed on my birth certificate, where mine should have been, I realized I was fortunate to be able to choose for myself. Blue was the name I chose. Blue, like this planet, I call home, with life as rare as the color it reflects. I wonder what name you would have chosen for yourself. When we first met, you were so small, full of imagination, despite moving through foster care with abuse allegations. You and your brother came to us with open hearts. My parents felt ready, truly believed they were doing something right. After all, family means forever, and nobody gets left behind. You know? We failed you. My parents failed you. The system, CPS, government, reality, God, and earth all failed you. I still remember vividly a day I wanted to protect you. High heel raised in one hand, your golden strands in the other, my mother's fury I had never seen so intensely focused on another, let alone a child who needed more care than most. That was the first time I contemplated violence, no longer wanting to sit idly by when it's so obvious who the victim was. It's stuck in my memory for a long time. I wrote it down, push it out of my mind, how I hated you, our brother, our mom, because I could no longer recognize right from wrong. So on that July evening, I was the only person you confided in. The worst imaginable thing a father could be capable of. I couldn't believe you. I didn't want to. Blamed you for tearing our family apart. It wasn't you or the God we prayed to. Just the world kept failing you. After what felt like an eternity being estranged, we reconnected when you had bouts of clarity. Sometimes you'd call me from the hospital. The med's not kicking in quite yet. Psychosis evident as you tell me angels are watching you and that God's not dead. Reliving past trauma in visions of my father crawling into your bed. You tell me how you're pregnant and it's Jesus' child. And I say that God must love you so much. This makes you happy to feel important to someone, and I pray it never fails you. Now I think about you when I drive around Vegas, terrified I'll see a familiar face at every underpass, or that heaven will come to meet you too soon. Dear sister, I want to be someone who cannot fail you, because unconditional love can never be a failure.
Stephi Blue, everybody. Let's give her a round of applause. You know it's good when it gets emotional. All right, well, this next book we're really excited about. We've been working with them too for quite a while now, and well, please help me welcome the secret poet.
Thank you. All right, I'm gonna take a sip of water here. So, for those of you who don't know me, I am the secret poet. And when I come out, I do tend to reveal some of my secrets. So, when they first asked me about tonight, I too interpreted toast in many different ways, and I went down the wormhole, as I do sometimes. I go down wormholes on different subjects of, I wonder what kind of toast did they mean? So I looked up all the different definitions of toast, and like, okay, it could be toast like bread, it could be toast like, ooh, sun-kissed, toasty, let me write a sexy poem. It could be like, ooh, I'm eating a piece of cheese toast. It could be toast. So then I look up, I found this quote, which I rather love, and it has multiple definitions in it. I didn't write it, but I do want to share. We would rather you raise a glass and make a unifying toast than strap on a proton pack and make something toast. Unless something that was worshipped, of course, is a Mesopotamian god, then, of course. Or making yourself toasty by a fire isn't a bad idea, and you can do that while thinking about the toast to someone you admire. So I, went down the whole definition of the toast, and I was like, how did we even say, like, how does toast have that many definitions? So I, again, reading, and way back when they used to have, making all their homemade ales and wines and everything, it had little floaters in it, which I'm not sure what the exact word for the floaters are, but they would put a piece of toast to cover other things from coming in, or a piece of toast at the bottom of the glass to sop up all the floaters so they could actually drink it. And then when they would raise their glasses, so hence toast. And I thought, wow, that could be kind of a cool thing. And so then I thought again, and you see how I'm babbling now, and this is how my brain was going like this. And one of my secrets is I'm so glad people cannot just see in my head, because I think they would give me one of those really cute little jackets that make you hug yourself and leave me in a room all by myself. So I wrote a haiku. And before I introduce my haiku, before I tell you about the whole haiku, another reason that toast came to be was, it was a way for them to make their bread last longer, way back when also. So this haiku, raised glasses in health and honor, or preserving bread from going stale. And there you go. Both very good things. So typically when those of you who have seen me before, I tend to get very emotional with my poetry, and I get, all caught up in it because we're poets and that's what we do. But one of my other secrets is that I'm a really big dork and I'm super cheesy about so many things. So that's where this piece comes in. I was like, I could do all my other fun things that I wrote about toast, but no, this should have been entitled Cheese Toast, because it's super cheesy. And if I'm, much like Garrett said, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it to the fullest. So hopefully it will be the corniest piece of poetry you maybe have ever heard. This one is called My Best Recipe. I've been told I'm a pretty good cook. Now, I don't make all those super fancy top chef types of things, but what I do make, I make rather well. And today, I'm going to tell you a story about my best recipe, toast. Now, I know I just said I make really good toast, and I do, but one morning I was out of bread. I thought about going to the store, but I decided to treat myself instead. So I took myself on a date out to breakfast. And what did I order? Well, what is better than bread that's already been cooked, sliced, and then cooked again? What? I'll have some toast, please. As I'm eating my toast, I hear a voice say, "Do you mind if I join you?" And I say, "Please do." We chat for a while, and one thing leads to another. Fast forward a little bit, I invite him to my house for dinner. Now, I'm going to share with you what I made that night, and it is the secret to my best recipe. You might want to write this down. But don't tell everybody, okay? You will need bread, butter, a butter knife, and a toaster. Put the bread in the toaster at the perfect level of toastiness. Then use the butter knife to spread the butter on the toast while it's warm so that it melts. It's impressive, right? I know. He thought so too. I know, right? He thought so too. So in fact, he was so impressed that it led to many more dates with much more toast, spreading our love like warm butter, and we had quite a little toasty romance going. We were the hottest couple around. You might even say we were the toast of the town. Fast forward, and we toast to celebrate our new life together. And as things go, time passes on, and time time's a funny thing, and life, it just keeps happening. And sometimes it gets ahead of you, too distracted, too busy, and things between us got complicated and cold, and sadly, there was no more time for special toast. We started feeling like just regular old bread. Has that ever happened to anyone? So noticing this, one day I thought, I'm going to switch things up. I went out and I bought loads of different jams and spreads and trying all different kinds of breads. Avocado toast. Who knew he was allergic to avocado? That didn't end well. Cucumber and lox. He doesn't like fish. Peanut butter banana. I like it. He thought it was a weird combination. Okay, French toast. He used to like it. Apparently he doesn't do dairy anymore. So, plain stale bread is all we have left. Our relationship melted, and soon it was officially toasted. Burnt. And not the kind, like he said, that you can scrape the, burnt. Fast forward again. A toast to the end of something is also a toast to new beginnings. And I'm ready to start dating again. And my profile read, short, sweet, and sometimes a little spicy. I like to belly laugh, and I think corny jokes are quite punny. And I love to cook, especially toast. He liked my profile, replied that he likes sweet and spicy, and telling corny jokes. He loves to eat, and his favorite thing is toast. We meet for dinner. He smiles, and this feels all too familiar. I put the bread in the toaster at the perfect level of toastiness. I use the butter knife to spread the butter on the bread, on the toast, while it's warm so that it melts. He tells me my favorite corny joke. I belly laugh and I even snort a little. He reaches for my hand, pulls me in close, and he tells me how much he has always loved my original toast. So warm, I melt like butter as I fall into his hold, and I'm so glad that I love to cook my signature dish, toast. Follow me for more recipes. Thank you so much for having me here tonight. It's always fun to be here, and you can follow me at The Secret Poet LV, and I do have a very super secret event coming up. What has been released so far is it will be on April 30th from 7 to 9 p.m., and we will be releasing more clues as you go, so you can look forward to that. Thank you so much. You guys have been great.
Tina, the secret poet, everybody. Yeah. All right. I'm excited about this next poet too. We've only got to work with this next poet, I think, once now. But when we first saw them, was at an Indigenous Day, and they were just killing it with their poetry. So we waited around till they were done, and everyone, all the crowds left her. And we came up and we said, look, we'd love to work with you somehow. So we got her to destroy our doomed poetry at Red Dwarf. It was just a hooping and hollering madhouse after they got done reading. And so please, help me welcome to the stage, Yesenia, Moya, Garay.
I looked at it earlier. Hi, y'all. Hi. Lots of people fit in here. That's pretty cool. For those that don't know me, my name is Yesenia Moya Garay. I'm a local artist, educator, and organizer. I'm founder of Mohala Inc. I use Mohala Inc. as a platform to talk about collective liberation through reclaiming of indigenous roots and ancestral ways of being, and also fucking shit up. So we've heard a lot of different versions of what toasted means, what it meant to people, what it brought up for them, right? Everything from literal to maybe a literal representations, and so I was like, what does it mean? And then I remembered that Shwa and Sugar always got a way of just looking at my poetry and the work that I do and making it fit into spaces, because I tend to, people don't like my shit, and mainly, art is in the eye of the beholder. So if you feel some type of way about it, that's about you, boo. This piece is called Fuck With Me. I covered up my fear and self-loathing and declared disdain for authority. Fake it till you make it, till last year I could no longer fucking take it. See, the state wants me, and I'm not crazy. I just smoked some really good weed and I'm just a little hazy. But I know what I mean when I say the state wants me. They want my head on a spike and on a swivel, not because they see me, but because to them, I shouldn't be. I shouldn't be here. I am not a human. I am a them, an alien. I am loud and expressive and rude and offensive, but that's not what they see when their horns chirp me. See, what comes up on their screen is not my activism, my words, or my newsfeed. It's a story the state has made up about me. Warrant status, non-compliant, bunch of tickets, arrested before, bitch won't come to court. They see my name and can't pronounce it. They see my face and only feel their hate. They don't see me afraid to be taken. Their guns clap states unclipped. Just another meal ticket. Just another quota filled goes in their logs. Just another life they don't give a fuck about. Just another day in paradise for them hogs. You rolled up on me to ask about my tattoos. Why the fuck do you want to search me? Don't I have a right to say you're violating me? See, I know the state wants me. They think that I'm a threat. They think that I'm ignorant and that I need to quit. But how can it touch the sun every time they get my wings clipped? They follow us and murder us and kidnap us off the street. They fuck with us and pull us over and ignore our fucking screams. The state wants all my friends and family, and that don't sit well with me. The state can go fuck themselves. Tell them Yesenia Moya said it. I won't give a fuck. Not until we're all free. Welcome to Moha 8 Poetry. All of my work has to do with reclamation, and mainly like this art is a way for me to really express myself in spaces that I've not been allowed to, in spaces that I'm not allowed to be myself. Too many times the story and narratives have been told for me. And so through my art, I tell my story and I own that. And this next one is a little shout out to all my haters. See, I'm not going down without a fight. The noise around keeps me up at night, but ain't nothing scarier than an empty gravesite. Trying to fuck with me, you'll end up dead at first light, because I got you dead to rights. You fucked up, and now it's too late, and it's time to say goodbye. I clocked your game and peeped your truth sly. See, I knew deep down you were an op, a fucking spy. You tiny, wimpy, slippery asswipe. Thought you'd get to me. Truth's out now, bitch, because you lied. I honor the dead who tell me the truth, because the living stay slipping on one tooth, skipping over the realities bitter like vermouth, a cocktail full of ingenious lefts and turns, leaving the faithful covered with soot. On fire is what you'll be today, because I'm going to light and ash you on the tray, set you ablaze from the inside out and no foul play, no one to miss your soul because it's in a grave. Sorry, not sorry, for today, you should have stayed away. Your first mistake was thinking you could get over on me. Your second was you thinking you could take a plea. You should have kept your mouth shut, B. You should have kept the door cut, sleeves. And now we're here, and I'm going to have to knock you free. Send your spirit into the ether because you didn't believe me either. When I told you I'd do what I said was just a teaser. You know me. Or maybe I thought you did, Reaper. But I'ma show you who I am now, no breather. No rest for the wicked, your soul's gone now, boo. No rest for the spirits in your cellar full. No way out this motherfucking base, you two. You brought this on yourself. No time for boo-hoos. May you see no heaven. Mercy, boo-hoo. That was some new shit. Yeah, I was feeling some type of way when I wrote that. So when I thought about toasted, I was like, well, my poetry lights shit on fire. And I think that, like, to get something toasted, to get something burnt, to get something warmed, you need that fire. So sometimes that fire can burn you, sometimes that fire can light you up. So let it be what it is. This next piece was really inspired by a very famous song, and it was actually my very first rock song ever. Nothing Else Matters by Metallica. So let's do this shit. Too many tears shed, angry supplications for our dead, wishing that the words left were unsaid. Too tired to yell while the bombs fell, and on goes the death knell. The names, too many to spell. The stories of Mahmoud, Anavid, Roxana, Ahmed, Brianna, Jorge, Sandra, Malcolm, all have left words unread. How long do we have on this plane of existence to expect the ongoing fight to keep up the resistance? I am here because they were. Fire deeply reflective inward. Stories and words we grasp from the ether. I heard once, we are the daughters of the ones they could not disappear. Sons of the ones who fought back, escaped, plotted, and held no fear. The ones who would not go silently into the night. We rose up and burned that light, but nothing else matters. When our children are dying on the streets like Lego stepped on by giants, what chance do we have to keep on thriving when your guns are the only ones left smiling? When the bloodshed is left unchecked, what do we expect? What do we do sitting here bereft? No recourse, no respect. Stand up and start scrapping. Join the rebellious uprising. Hit the streets and demand justification. Demand accountability and stop the retaliation. Embrace your neighbor. Teach each other. Love one another. Use the indignation for the unification of the struggles against their supremacist factions. When we stand together, we stand in strength. And when we push together, we move with breath. Take up all that space and reconnect. Say fuck you with your whole chest. Fuck the systematic repression. Fuck the governance structured procession of Big Brother's fucking nation. Open mind for a different view. And nothing else matters. Because I never cared for what they say. And I never cared for what they do. And if we get closer, they will have no chance for dispersal. Order sent our way will be meaningless because we outnumber them. I want some peace, and these motherfuckers won't let me be. They're slanging in the media, selling words to dope heads like encyclopedias. Door-to-door dealers propagating hate from crooked leaders, snorting every syllable like coke lines on a mirror. Knows like drugs are now billable, cause to them, nothing else matters. Forgive them, for they know not what they do, cause I can't forgive them for shit. Hold the line, my family and friends. Cause this ain't it. I love you. Keep your head up. Peace be with you and mine. Fuck these borders. Fuck ICE. Fuck 12. And free Palestine. Y'all can follow me at Mohala Inc. There's a lot of things going on in the community. I talk about it in my artwork. I talk about it in my regular work. Like I said, I'm an educator. I'm an artist. I do workshops, trainings. If anything resonated with you today, come hit me up. My birthday's on Thursday. And I do have some of my zines with me, but thank y'all so much for sharing space with me today. I'm like, can we do a selfie? Let's do a selfie. Let's see if it works. Does it work? Y'all get in the picture? I'm not even in the. Oh, there we go. Thank y'all.
Yesenia, Moya, Garay. Well, as many of you may know, I have been a cannabis journalist for years. But before I was a journalist, I was a cannabis activist. In fact, I lived in California, born and raised, multiple generations, and I found that cannabis was a medicine for me. And back in the medical days, is what we used to call it before it was illegal for recreational use. That's what we considered a medical product. And I was 19 years old when the first cannabis bill came out in California, and I was getting signatures. And then the second bill, because the first one didn't pass, I was getting signatures. And I've been involved with the cannabis industry ever since. In fact, years ago, my wife and I started a cannabis company back in the medical years. Towards the end of the medical years, we were still activists trying to get it legalized into the adult use, which came to bite us in the ass in the end in California because they couldn't figure out how to work their bill. And it took them a whole year. And by that time, we decided that it was time for us to kind of move on. And we were cannabis journalists at the same time. My wife's a photojournalist. And we were following the movement and with our company. And we were also behind the scenes seeing what was really going on. And we saw that it was kind of imploding on itself because of greed. And that's what happens. And but before all of that, the good news was we had this great product called Giggle Butter. We made this coconut oil infused, and that's pretty much what this poem is about. Much like Tina, this is a recipe, if you will. So, making Giggle Butter. Giggle Therapeutics was my cannabis company name, and Giggle Butter, the product we produced, was deliciously insane. By the way, I rhyme my poems for those who don't like rhyming poems. I've been writing poems since junior high school, and I'm 52 this year. And my poetry classes, people would say, like, you gotta stop rhyming because it makes you sound so mature. And so for a long time, I have a lot of poems that don't all rhyme. But for the most part, I enjoy rhyming. Sometimes I rhyme when I talk. That's how cool I am. But they also call me the Dr. Seuss, so I can feel good with rhyming that way, Anyways, back to my poem. I first made it for my wife, who didn't like to smoke. Having never really done it, the smoke made her choke. But when she came home at night from roller derby, she was always wound up and beat up, unable to sleep until it was almost time to get up. So I infused some coconut oil, and it was quickly her favorite way to consume a little cannabis at the end of her long day. Long ago, I learned a method, a way to make edibles taste just like food you're cooking and not an ashtray. So, an infused dinner was eaten, every magical bit. And as soon as my wife started giggling, I knew we had a hit. The giggle guided us up and down California, demoing and giggle spreading. We met a shit ton of con artists and a few people we call family. We were lucky enough to get out before the greedy corporate sellout. Now, I bring it back around to the old school home brew just for you. Now you too can make giggle butter at home, just like I do. In fact, I think everyone and their mother should all know how to make delicious cannabis products, whether they simmer or they bake. So let us begin. Let's start the class. What it all starts off with is washing your grass. Simmer, simmer, simmer. Make the cannabis plant taste thinner. Less cannabis taste, the more you can taste your dinner, or breakfast, or brunch, or supper, or lunch. Simmer, then strain, then do the same. Wash your plant so you don't have to consume everything that is on it and everything used to make it bloom. Weigh out a ½ pound of leaf into a mesh brew bag. Boil water in a large pot, then turn it off. Submerge the bag of leaf into hot water and let it sit for 45 minutes to an hour. Remove the hot water, squeeze out the water from the bag. Rinse bag with warm tap water until runoff is no longer green and brown. Now you're ready to decarb. Decarbonization. It's an important part, so pay close attention. If you overdo it, your potency is decreased, but if you do it enough, on this you shall feast. Spread leaf out onto a baking tray, thin layer dry, then the quickest way. I haven't read this poem in a very long time. Good news for you, you're almost through. Now you have the main product to go be infused. Coconut oil is what we use for a base, but any fatty soluble product can be used in its place. A ½ pound, 227 grams decarb leaf, 6 pounds, 2,724 grams coconut oil, 1.5 pounds, 681 grams MCT oil. It's easier to use the weights when you're using scales like that, just for those who are out there cooking this back at home. The recipe's in my book, by the way. Simmer, don't boil. You'll have a winner. After 45 minutes, let the elixir chill. Then squeeze out the bag and have at will. We sweeten some with honey and spices and others with cayenne. If you do it right, you'll never stop giggling. Here you have it, my friends. I hope you have fun spreading the giggle to everyone. Thank you all. We're so glad y'all came out. Thank you so much. We have some amazing poets. Let's give them another big hand. And like our poets said, a lot of their work we carry at the bookstore, or you can contact them directly. We will continue to be doing these intimate evenings here until we all get thrown out. So please keep checking in with us. And Jessica also books appointments here if you want to come in and get a personal tour with it all. She does flat lays, which you'll see some of these pictures that she has on the walls. You pick out all the little things you like, put it, and she'll take a picture of it for you for a reasonable price. We're all headed down to the bookstore. You're welcome to come. We do got to get out of here though in the next few minutes or so. So grab it all up.
There's still some tickets for May 19th.
Oh, look at that. What's our theme, May 19th?
Wish you were here.
Wish you were here. So we wish you'd all come back. Wish you were here.
And when you speak, angels sing from above. Everyday words seem